Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today we are taking a look at TLO ZVT stylings in the first game. We saw TLO go up against Pult and not do so hot. Suffered a big loss against a big Hellion Marauder push. I always forget now whether they're called the Hellions or the Hellbats. I never remember which one is which now. I don't know why, but for some reason that always throws me off. Anyway, Hellion Marauder push that came in, took out TLO's natural, but he didn't take too many drone losses. Only took 9 drone losses and was able to retake that base, but then he just committed to all-out aggression against his opponent, tried to kill his opponent, and Pult was just able to hold. So we're going to be checking out another game from Liquid's TLO, and it is also going to be here on Whirlwind. Spawning in the bottom right position as the blue Zerg, we have Team Liquid's TLO. His opponent spawning in the top right position as the red Terran. Playing from Team EG, we have ThorZaIN. And oh, for those of you that don't know ThorZaIN, he's so good. He is so good. Very, very creative European player. So I'm going to be absolutely delighted to see how he plays in this game. Now, how has the matchup changed since Heart of the Swarm? How has the matchup changed? Well, there's a lot of different standard openings that have now come about just because of the change of units that are available now to Terran. Because Reapers have gotten that little bit of a buff, and now they're much easier to make early on. It's very, very common to see a lot of Reaper openings, and this is by far one of the more common openings that we're seeing from Terrans these days, and that is to just go for Command Center first. Because it's so rare that Zergs go for any kind of attack, it makes it really, really hard to hold things like 6 pools and things like that. But even at that, there are players that have shown very creative ways of taking on people that just go for 6 pools against things like that. Building barracks out in the middle of nowhere, and then just letting your army build up there and while walling off the main, just holding, keeping that repaired up in there, and you can actually end up staying quite a bit ahead doing little things like that. So there's lots of little creative ways that Terran players have managed to stay alive against those early pool attacks. And then of course also just scouting. Good scouting means that your opponent can never really catch you off guard. And Zergs in general like to play macro-oriented anyway, so it's generally a fairly good bet, and it's fairly safe to go for Command Center first. Now we can see that after this Command Center, ThorZaIN did go for this barracks, and he does have 1 gas mining here as well. In the base of Liquid TLO, we have a very similar opening from the previous game. He did open up with a hatchery first into a spawning pool, and no gas yet being taken here for TLO. No gas at all, so this means that he's going to be able to get an earlier 3rd base out, because I believe he does know that his opponent spawned here. He had this Overlord peek in here, saw that this Command Center was going down, so he knows that his opponent's going for that, so he doesn't feel any need to take any gas. He doesn't need to take any gas. There's nothing that can be coming at him this early. At the worst, maybe a Reaper, but that's about it. We're not going to be seeing any other types of big aggression here. So he's delayed his gas here till about the 4-minute and 30-second mark, where he's getting 1 gas geyser. Double Queen coming out as well, and it looks like he's now just going to be going over here to get ready to take his 3rd base here fairly soon. Most likely going to be seeing that 3rd go down more around the 6-minute mark, just in case that there are any big early aggressions coming out of ThorZaIN. So like we saw from Pult in the previous game, he could just get some workers up here and go for some kind of a big attack here. So it's usually not quite the move of Zerg players to go for as fast as a 3rd as you would against a Protoss opponent. 2nd gas now coming down here for TLO, and Zergling speed should now be coming down here pretty soon as well. I'm sure as soon as he gets up to that 100 gas, we're going to be seeing that come down. We see a lot of Queens going down here for TLO. We see 2 already out on the map and 2 more coming down. This is going to bring his total up to 4, so he's going to start to be able to spread that creep all around the map. And we have something really interesting coming down here from ThorZaIN. From ThorZaIN, we did have this barracks. Did he produce any Marines? Yeah, he produced just 2 Marines, and then he started to use this barracks to create a reactor. Now he's going to be swapping this onto a factory, so it looks like we're going to be seeing some Hellions coming out here. And what is this actually going down here in the meantime? Oh, we have a starport going down behind this, so this is kind of interesting. Kind of an early, kind of a 1-1-1-ish kind of build there with that Command Center squeezed in as well. And I'm I'm trying to decide what's going down here, but I think I know what he's going to be doing. He's most likely going to be producing some Hellbats. I want to see if he's going to be producing Hellbats out of this. Do we have? Yeah, we do. There's the armory going down there. That's what I was missing. With the armory going down there, he's going to be producing Hellbats. He's going to be producing Hellbats out of this factory, and there we go. The medevac's going down. So it is going to be Hellbat drops here from THORZaIN. Very, very strong. Could potentially get a lot of workers. But this Overlord from TLO is coming in here, and he's actually seeing everything coming down here from THORZaIN. So he actually knows about the reactor factory, sees that starport building as well, so he's going to know that drops are going down, and yeah, immediately throwing down those spore crawlers and starting to spread some creep in his main as well, so he can start to prepare for this attack that could be coming here from THORZaIN. In the meantime, these two Hellions from THORZaIN continuing to poke around the map, starting to try to deny some creep if he can. Notice he's just placing them on the edge of creep. What does this mean? This means that every time TLO tries to spread these creep tumors forward, well, these Hellions are just going to kill him. So it stops his creep dead for a little while until TLO produces some lings and things to be able to deal with this. Now, we do have an interesting move here by TLO in that he's going for the pneumatized carapace. That is the movement speed for Overlord's upgrade. But oh, looks like TLO does actually see this medevac moving out here, and he's got a couple of queens here to be able to deal with it. 3 queens actually, and with that spore crawler, very nice move there by TLO. Loses absolutely 0 workers. No workers killed at all. Manages to pick off the medevac and the 2 Hellbats, so that is a big loss there for THORZaIN. But he does have one more drop here loading up and starting to move across the map here. Will he be able to do some damage? And oh my goodness, TLO's moving out with some Overlords right now, and boom, he does actually manage to see that second medevac moving out there, so TLO's going to be fully prepared for this. He's going to need to pull some queens to this third base. He's just barely getting some creep spread all the way going over there, and actually he's not moving his queens over there. Did he miss it? Did he not see this going down on the mini-map? He has some lings going across the map to check on the third, but yeah, I think he just didn't see that on the mini-map there because he didn't start moving queens to come deal with it, and there we go. Now we have queens moving down to come try to deal with this here. But notice what TLO is doing here. He's focusing the medevac. No damage is being done to these Hellbats. All the damage is going down on these medevacs. Why? It is actually a mistake to focus down these Hellbats. These Hellbats are really, really tanky, really hard to kill, and especially with that medevac healing him up, they're really hard to kill. But if you start to focus down that medevac, it puts a time limit on how long this damage can be going down in your base. Once the medevac goes down, these Hellions are pretty much dead. These Hellbats, rather, are pretty much dead. Oh, nice little move here from TLO, trying to delay this third base by spreading some creep at the third of THORZaIN. And now in the base of THORZaIN, we see a whole lot more factories coming down. So he's up to a total of 3 factories right now. Third command center down as well. Now building a reactor on this barracks to try to get some marine production going down. He is moving out here with a small group of siege tanks and Hellbats there. This is kind of an interesting move here by THORZaIN. In the base of TLO right now, there's not a whole lot to deal with this. There is a Spire on the way, as well as a double evolution chamber. Lair coming down as well. No, that's not a lair. He actually went for a infestation pit into a fast hive here, as well as a baneling nest here. So this is a really super fast hive here from TLO. What could he possibly be going for here? I'm not actually sure what he's going to be going for, but he does not know that this push is coming until right now. Right now, all these units are moving into his base. 2 siege tanks here on the low ground. 1 going to be sieging up here, and oh, TLO's in a little bit of trouble, getting ready to try to set up a flank here. He's got a lot of lings moving out into the map here, but these Hellbats are going to be dealing a lot of damage here. But lings move in from the back, manage to pick off a couple of those siege tanks, and yes, both the siege tanks go down, and now TLO just needs to clean up these Hellbats, which are actually starting to get a lot of worker kills here. So far, 16 workers killed here for THORZaIN. But TLO manages to hold there, and that's not bad at all. And THORZaIN, this is really interesting here from THORZaIN. Notice THORZaIN is establishing his third. He's starting to take a 4th command center. But mech is usually seen as that style where you kind of just sit back, build up your giant invincible army, and then you kind of move out later. But THORZaIN is doing something really interesting here, and he's moving out with small packs of Hellbats and siege tanks. This is something that I've never seen before from Terran players, and we're gonna have to see how effective he can be with it. Notice he's also adding Marines into this composition as well. This is a really interesting move here by THORZaIN, not something that TLO will have been likely to go up against before. Now we do see the Greater Spire coming up here for TLO in the meantime, as well as some Corruptors now starting to come up onto the field here, but oh my goodness, what is going on there? there. That was it. I'm not even sure what the heck was going on there with my keyboard. But THORZaIN has established a third base behind this. Notice it is an orbital command, not a planetary fortress. So TLO has some options there to try to deal some damage if he wants to go for a counterattack here. But in the meantime, we do have a lot of corruptors now coming out onto the field. +1/+1 going down. This is really interesting by TLO. TLO's been going for a lot of this high-tech units, but really, really low upgrades. And he's been doing this a lot lately. And this is kind of an interesting style. I don't know how much I agree with that style. I mean, it puts you so far behind in upgrades. As you notice, these mech units are already +1 attack upgrades up. And, ooh, TLO realizing that this is not a planetary fortress is going to start to move around with some of these links and try to get a few free worker kills here. But THORZaIN catching on, going to start to move his main his units up into that third expansion here. And once again, THORZaIN moving out with a small pack of Hellbats, Marines, and Siege Tanks here. And these are actually being quite effective. He's getting a lot of link kills with these. So this is actually quite nice here for THORZaIN. And in the meantime, THORZaIN's moving around with these two Vikings, picking up a lot of Overlord kills, and this is forcing a lot of units out of TLO. Keep in mind, TLO has not taken any fourth bases at all. He's just on 3 bases, and THORZaIN is starting to now go up to 4 bases. So THORZaIN really, really soon is going to be up on 4 bases, and he's going to be having full-out mech production here. Lots of units going down here for THORZaIN, who is currently in the food lead by quite a lot. 147 food to the 114 food of LiquidTLO. Now, TLO does have Broodlords out on the map. He only's got 2 Broodlords on the map, but it's some Broodlords on the map. So once again, he's got high-tech units, but he doesn't have a lot of upgrades, and he doesn't have a lot of economy. So he's been focusing all of his resources into just getting these high-tech units out. And oh, we do have a big double drop coming in here from THORZaIN. Going to be dropping those Hellbats in the main, and not in the main, but in the third base, and they're getting a lot of worker kills so far. 26 workers killed here. These Hellbats just deal damage so fast, but in the meantime, big link counterattack going down here for TLO as he manages to get into that fourth, forcing a cancel on this command center, who actually he starts to load up those SCVs into that command center. Not a very often used ability there by the command center, but he does manage to save a few SCVs there. Not bad. On the workers, on the income tab, we can see that the harvesters are currently actually favoring THORZaIN. 66 harvesters to 57 of TLO, and TLO's still on third base. He's not trying to take any fourth bases, despite knowing that this third base has been up for a while. Does deny that fourth base for a little bit here, but with these Hellbats, it looks like he's finally going to be able to push off those lings. And TLO just way down in the food supply. 152 supply to the 119 of TLO. And oh, nice little pickup there by TLO as he manages to pick off one of those medevacs, and the other one just barely gets alive with 4 hit points. But in the meantime, there's a big circling counterattack going in here to the third base. Manages to pick up a lot of workers here. 15 workers killed so far here for TLO. Definitely a good little move there. Definitely worth it there for TLO. Managed to get some worker kills there. Very, very nice. But as we can see, THORZaIN's going into a big Viking count right now. He saw those Broodlords coming out onto the map, and he's now going into this Thor Broodlord composition. But what do we have from TLO? Something really, really, really weird. We have Ultralisks now coming down here. Ultralisk coming down, +2/+2 upgrades coming down as well. So he's going to be going for this really, really weird Broodlord Ultralisk composition, because he knows his opponent is now going into this high Viking count, right? He knows his opponent's going to be making a lot of Vikings because his opponent has already seen those Corruptors coming out. So he knows that his opponent is assuming he's going into Broodlord here. But TLO deciding to metagame his opponent just a little bit here by instead opting to go for a whole lot of Ultralisks. And holy Ultralisks, Batman, how many does these have on the field right now? He's got 4 on the field right now with another 4 on the way here, and these Ultralisks are so food heavy. He's up to 161 supply to the 157 of THORZaIN, so he's already passed up the supply despite THORZaIN being ahead in economy. I can't believe that TLO is still on 3 bases. He could have been taking bases all over the place right now. His opponent is on mech. His opponent hasn't been super terribly aggressive except for a few Hellbat drops here and there, but TLO could have half the map right now, and I don't know about this decision by TLO. He does have a lot of queens here out in the middle of the map, trying to spread as much creep as he can. But THORZaIN now just sitting back, and he's got this really, really strong mech army going. But it's a very, very strong army against air. A lot of Vikings. If we check out that unit counting station, 15 Vikings, 3 Thors currently on the field, as well as 3 Hellbats and 4 Siege Tanks. And now these queens have pushed everything out of the center of the map here and are continuing to just spread creep all over the map here. And I don't know that THORZaIN knows what's going on here. A scan goes down here at that third base, but still nothing. I don't think he actually knows that all of these whatchamacallit, that all these Ultralisks are down. I'm trying to check out the vision of ThorZaIN. Yeah, no, he doesn't see the Ultralisk cavern either, so he doesn't know that that's gone down here. In the meantime, these Vikings looks like they're going to be moving out here. He has to be so baffled right now, ThorZaIN that is, as to what his opponent is doing. He keeps scanning and saying, where are your bases, man? What exactly are you doing here? Now, there is a big drop here prepared for ThorZaIN, but oh, there's a big attack coming in here from TLO. All of these units are 4-2 in upgrades right now, or 2-4 rather, in upgrades, and oh, needs to be really, really careful. In the meantime, big Hellbat drop coming into this base here of TLO, and it looks like in the meantime all of these Ultralisks starting to push into this base, and ThorZaIN just doesn't really have a whole lot to deal with this number of Ultralisks moving in here. So much damage. This drop is doing a lot of damage, but this Ultralisk is pulling back to be able to deal with that, and so many units are going down here for ThorZaIN. He's actually just losing big, heavy units all over the place. He's losing Thors to these Ultralisks all over the map here, and oh, the supply depots don't come up here, and all of these Ultralisks are now going to get into the natural expansion here of ThorZaIN. In the meantime, 2 Ultralisks still doing a lot of damage here, and ThorZaIN gonna start to lose a lot of production as these Ultralisks are moving up into the main right now. Still, these Hellbat drops are going down, but it looks like they are finally going to be shut down here. And oh god, did I really just do that? Did I really just do that, ladies and gentlemen? I just skipped all the way back to the beginning of this replay. So I'm just going to have to reveal the game timer here. Things are looking pretty grim here. And oh, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just skipped to the very beginning of this replay. Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely the worst thing that ever could have possibly happened to me. So we're going to have to check out this attack again here from TLO as we zip into this game. I'm trying to see what ThorZaIN can do to stop this, but I think he's just been expecting air this entire time, and this giant tech switch here by TLO means that he's finally going to be able to just get in here and just deal a whole lot of damage despite being so far behind in econ. If we check out the worker count right now, 37 or 39 harvesters to the 66 harvesters of ThorZaIN. I think that's actually going to drop a little bit more as these Hellbats are going to come and drop down into this natural expansion as well. And yeah, it looks like TLO's completely all in here on 3 bases, but it looks like because of this giant tech switch and because ThorZaIN has so much food tied up into these Vikings, TLO's just going to get into the main and start to deal a whole lot of damage here. Look at all of this damage going down, losing a lot of production here, and there's really just no reply here for ThorZaIN. He's just got nothing that he can really do against this. The harvester count is down to 27 harvesters to 24. The drops have been shut down here, so TLO actually has a lot of mining going down here. 62 total workers killed here for ThorZaIN, 68 workers killed here for TLO, and all because of this just giant tech switch that ThorZaIN was not expecting. He's trying to land these Vikings, try to clear out some of these Ultralisks, but man, these Thors are just not going to be quite enough despite having the upgrades, having a lot of upgrades there. Yeah, ThorZaIN just going to be forced to GG out of this game as TLO manages to sit on 3 bases till the 20-minute mark against a Terran opponent who goes up to 4 bases and manages to win with a giant tech switch. I cannot imagine that TLO was planning to do that the entire game. I don't know what he was thinking with not expanding, but he seems to have made it work here as, look at that, once he does all the damage with the Ultralisks, he moves in with the Broodlords to start to deal some damage here once all the Vikings and the Thors are dead. Brilliant play here by TLO that I can't say that this would work all the time, but it definitely worked in this game and made for a very, very exciting little game. So thanks guys so much for watching. I apologize for that big, huge rewind on the replay. Totally hit the wrong button there, but be sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button nonetheless. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/GlitchStarCraft, Facebook.com/GlitchStarCraft, and if you want to watch me streaming live, you can go to twitch.tv/GlitchStarCraft. So thank you guys so much for watching. This game has been a blast. Tomorrow, going to be moving on to a new player, going to be checking out some new replays, and yeah, be sure to tune into that, guys. Thanks for watching. Glitch out.